Are we outsourcing our thinking to machines? This is the central question of our time. Every day, we lean more on artificial intelligence. We use chatbots to answer questions. We let autocomplete finish our sentences. Recommendation engines tell us what to watch, read, and buy. These tools are designed for convenience. They make life easier and faster. But as we embrace this efficiency, we must ask what we are giving up. Is the ease of access to information coming at the cost of our own cognitive abilities? We are handing over small mental tasks, one by one, without considering the cumulative effect on our minds. Recent studies are starting to paint a concerning picture. Researchers at institutions like MIT and Cornell have observed changes in the brains of frequent AI users. Their findings suggest a pattern of reduced brain activity in regions associated with deep thought and memory recall. When we constantly rely on AI to provide answers, our brains don't have to work as hard to remember facts or solve problems. This lack of mental exercise can lead to what some call digital amnesia, where we struggle to retain information that we know can be easily looked up. Our brains, like muscles, need regular workouts to stay strong and agile. Another troubling trend is the homogenization of our expression. As more people use AI to help with writing, from emails to essays, a certain sameness has begun to emerge. The subtle nuances, the unique voice, and the personal style that make writing human are often smoothed over by algorithms trained on vast data sets. The AI produces text that is correct and coherent, but often lacks originality and depth. We risk becoming conduits for machine-generated language rather than creators of our own thoughts. This shift is subtle, creeping into our daily communications without us even noticing the gradual loss of our individual voice. The convenience of these tools is seductive. We save time and mental energy, which seems like a clear benefit. However, the long-term consequences are far less obvious. The very processes that build strong minds, struggle, contemplation, and focused effort are the ones we are so eagerly automating away. We are trading the satisfaction of intellectual discovery for the instant gratification of a quick answer. As we move further into this new era, we must be vigilant. We need to understand the profound ways these technologies are not just serving us, but also shaping the very architecture of our minds and our ability to think for ourselves. The phenomenon at the heart of this change is called cognitive offloading. This is the act of using an external tool to reduce the mental effort required for a task. We have done this for centuries with simpler technologies. Writing things down in a notebook is a form of cognitive offloading. Using a calculator for complex math is another. These tools have historically extended our cognitive reach, allowing us to tackle bigger problems. But the automated, ever-present nature of modern AI takes this process to an entirely new level, making it a constant and passive habit rather than a deliberate choice. Think about how we navigate the world. Not long ago, getting to a new destination required a map, a sense of direction, and careful attention to our surroundings. We had to build a mental map of the area. Today, we simply type an address into a GPS. We blindly follow the voice commands without engaging with the world around us. We offload the entire task of navigation. Similarly, when students are assigned an essay, some might turn to an AI to generate the text. They offload the difficult work of research, structuring arguments, and finding the right words, receiving a finished product with minimal cognitive engagement. This constant offloading carries a significant risk. When we stop using certain mental skills, our brains begin to prune the neural pathways that support them. The principle is simple: use it or lose it. If we no longer need to remember phone numbers because they are all in our contacts, our memory for numbers may weaken. If we don't practice forming arguments because an AI can do it for us, our critical thinking skills can atrophy. We are essentially telling our brains that these functions are no longer necessary, and the brain, being an efficient organ, reallocates its resources elsewhere, leaving us weaker in those areas. The danger lies in the seamlessness of it all. AI tools are so well integrated into our digital lives that we often offload our thinking without even realizing it. The autocomplete suggestion appears and we accept it. The recommended video plays and we watch it. Each instance seems minor, a tiny delegation of mental work, but added up over thousands of interactions a day, it creates a powerful habit of cognitive dependency. We are training ourselves to be passive recipients of information rather than active participants in the process of thinking, creating a state where our brains are perpetually on autopilot. One of the most profound impacts of AI is on our creativity. Writing in particular is a deeply personal act of expression. It is how we translate our unique thoughts, experiences, and emotions into a form that others can understand. Our voice is a reflection of our mind. When we rely on AI to generate our text, we risk losing that voice. The algorithms are trained on immense volumes of existing text from the internet. They excel at producing language that is statistically probable and grammatically sound, but they do not have experiences, feelings, or a unique perspective on the world. The result is writing that can feel generic and lifeless. It lacks the quirks, the unexpected turns of phrase, and the distinct rhythm that make a human writer's work compelling. An AI can assemble a perfectly logical argument, but it cannot infuse it with the passion of genuine conviction or the vulnerability of personal reflection. It creates a smooth, polished surface that hides a hollow core. As we become more accustomed to this kind of writing, we may start to emulate it ourselves, sanding down our own unique edges to fit a more generic, machine-like mold. Our own creativity becomes suppressed. Furthermore, the algorithms that drive recommendation engines create a subtle but powerful form of intellectual confinement. They are designed to show us more of what we already like. If we watch a certain type of video or read a certain type of article, the AI will serve us more of the same. This creates a comfortable feedback loop, an echo chamber where our existing beliefs and preferences are constantly reinforced. While this can be enjoyable, it shields us from ideas that might challenge us, perspectives that might broaden our horizons, and content that might spark an entirely new interest or creative path. This algorithmic curation limits our exposure to the random serendipitous discoveries that so often fuel creativity. True innovation rarely comes from following a predictable path. It comes from making unexpected connections between disparate ideas. It comes from stumbling upon something that we weren't looking for. By letting algorithms decide what we see and think about, we are handing over the reins of our curiosity. We risk becoming intellectually passive, consuming a pre-digested diet of information that confirms what we already know instead of venturing into the unknown territories where true originality is born. The rise of artificial intelligence does not have to mean the decline of human intellect. The key is not to reject these powerful tools, but to learn how to use them wisely and deliberately. We must shift from being passive users to being active directors of the technology. Instead of asking an AI to write an essay for us, we can use it as a sophisticated research assistant. We can ask it to summarize complex topics, find sources, or suggest different angles to explore. We guide the process, using the AI to augment our own thinking rather than replace it entirely. This keeps our minds engaged in the core intellectual work. A crucial strategy for maintaining our cognitive independence is to always act as the final evaluator. Never accept an AI's output at face value. We must critically assess its suggestions, check its facts, and question its conclusions. Is the information accurate? Is the argument logical? Does the generated text truly reflect what we want to say? This process of evaluation forces us to think deeply about the subject matter and strengthens our analytical skills. It turns the interaction from a simple command and response into a dialogue where our own judgment remains paramount. We must be the curator of the machine's output. It is also vital that we consciously choose when not to use AI. We need to carve out time for focused, unaided thought. We should read books without distraction, write in a simple text editor without autocomplete, and allow ourselves to be bored. Boredom is not a void to be filled with digital noise. It is the fertile ground where our minds wander, make new connections, and generate original ideas. By setting firm boundaries and preserving spaces for deep thinking, we ensure that our brains continue to get the exercise they need to stay sharp, creative, and resilient in an increasingly automated world. Ultimately, the question is not whether AI is intelligent, but whether we choose to be. The technology itself is neutral. It can be a crutch that makes us weaker, or it can be a tool that makes us stronger. The outcome depends entirely on us. We stand at a critical juncture where we must decide on our relationship with these machines. Will we cede our cognitive authority and allow our thinking to be shaped by algorithms? Or will we harness their power while fiercely protecting our own capacity for thought, creativity, and originality? The choice is ours. Do we control the AI? Or does the AI control us?